Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are beginning our invasion of Portugal. And it looks like it's going quite well. So that is fantastic. We are, of course, we still have too many military factories right now. Are we going to convert another one? Let's see. Actually, no. Okay, we should convert one, and we will convert... There are no military factories here? Okay, that's fine. We'll convert a military factory here to a civilian factory. And that will become our top priority for right now. Okay, there we go. So as far as construction goes, that'll be just fine. And of course, we're working on this over here. And once this war is over, we'll adjust our land forts, because that will need adjusting. As well as our coastal forts, actually. That'll need adjusting too. But we'll just allow this war to proceed for right now. That'll be fine. We have available planes in our reserves, and we're just pushing on in. Oh, and I did want to mention, I did some experimentation on why they didn't call in their subject nations. Every time I tried, they called them in, like, immediately when I pressed the play button. So, I don't know what to say. I guess they were just waiting until I restarted the game or something, but there we go. I mean, maybe it just takes a little bit of time. That's also a possibility. But regardless, we were always going to win this war no matter what, even if they didn't call in their subject nations, which I'm sure they would have eventually. Surely, right? But oh well, here we are, and we're just going to push on in over here. We're going to have absolutely no problem with that. We're going to take their various locations. We should probably begin justifying on Zaire. And so we shall. Fantastic. So we're going to take all their stuff, and that'll be fine. They don't have the greatest of resources, if I'm honest. But they have some resources that we're interested in, and so we shall take it. They did not join the Allies. We did not expect them to join the Allies. Would Zaire join the Allies? Probably not. Why are they working on a cruiser? Oh, I suppose they aren't landlocked. I was going to say, why are they working on cruiser effort? Because they're landlocked. But no, they do have a naval base. It's a level 1 naval base. Okay. Well, I see why they delayed it until now. So that is fine. This is kind of a big mess at this exact moment. But we'll get pushed in over here. No problem whatsoever. We're not expecting to have any issues. The two garrison forces that are over here, actually it's only a single garrison force. It will, of course, be told to garrison this entire area. We'll probably only have it garrison the border regions, is my guess, unless we're worried about paratroopers, which maybe we should be. How many units will it require to garrison all of Spain? I'm guessing quite a number. There is that. I'm wondering why some of these are brown. I'm thinking it's because we're probably giving it to Nationalist Spain, but we'll see. We will see. So Nationalist Spain does have 2 aluminum. We don't exactly care about that. So in this peace deal, we're going to take Regional Defense Council of Aragon. Really? Who is this? These guys up here, or these guys? These guys? Where are the Regional Defense Council of Aragon? I don't see anybody. But it looks like... Oh, over here. Okay, well, it looks like we're already on it. Well, actually, maybe not. That is in Western Aragon. So maybe... Okay, well, there we go. That's fantastic. We are, of course, seeing Portugal crumble before our eyes. And there's not too much longer before this is all under our control. Portuguese Spain has capitulated. Fantastic. We should be expecting Portuguese Angola to capitulate any moment now, as well as regular old Portugal shortly thereafter. And that'll be fine. So we're going to continue to push on in over here. We are still a little bit positive on our manpower. I do want to address our tank battalions, though. There was a tank battalion loadout that a commenter left. I would have to look up the name, and not going to do that right now. I was intending to do this, and then I was like, oh wait, but we're at war though. We'll do it after we finish with the Portuguese War, and I'll look up your name and give you credit for that as soon as we're ready to do that. But for right now, that'll probably be a next episode sort of thing. And we'll just reorganize our modern tank divisions. I do like the loadout that was proposed, so we'll go for it. It'll be fine. I do want to extend out our front over here. So we'll take these guys and we will extend this front line down to the sea like that. Okay, so it's pretty much just Portugal left at this point. Portuguese Angola technically exists, I suppose. And we're working on this over here still. It's taking us some time to traverse, but that's not shocking. Overall, this seems to be completely fine. No real worries here. And we are a little bit concerned about any allies that are in these regions, but that'll be fine. We're okay with potentially attacking Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman. We're potentially okay with attacking up over here as well. These are all options we need to look at. Is Finland currently guaranteed? They're not. And that's interesting. We have a land border up here. So that's very interesting. We're just going to push in over here, though. Absolutely no problem. And wipe Portugal off the map. Perfect. We are nearly out of manpower. That's okay. We're not too concerned about it. And there we go. We've stack wiped this region. Portugal is about to capitulate here. Unless they did move their capital here, so that's the thing that they did. We're going to have these guys form up here on the border with Zaire, and they are going to just push up something kind of like... Actually, this would be fine. But that war is not starting just yet. So we'll take Lisbon. No problem. I mean, eventually we'll take Lisbon. We just have such a large unit here, right? There's no way that they could have ever dealt with this. I think this is an autosave, but they'll capitulate soon. We did take Lisbon, and they did not capitulate. So they've got this region over here. They've got this region over here, and then they've still got this. These guys are not assigned to a front line, which is kind of odd. They're going to come on over here and offensive line to here like they were originally told to do. Now Portugal has capitulated. Okay. So first things first, we're going to take locations like Portuguese Angola here. And we're going to take Portugal over here. This is something that we want. We're also going to take this. That's very important to us. There are resources here. What other resources do we want? Well, we can definitely go after these resources over this way. So this would all be taken by us directly. And then there's this up here, which is resources that we want. Like that. And then we would directly take these regions as well. Something along the lines of this. And then, let's see, for Portuguese Spain, we would puppet the rest of them. And then for Portugal, we would probably puppet the rest of them. Like that. And then we'd satellite the Regional Defense Council of Aragon, I guess. But we'll just pass there. There we go. Okay. Fantastic. So these territories over here, we took them ourselves because they have resources that we want. The other territories we did not take because they do not have resources that we want. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to want to redeploy these guys. I would like to redeploy them up over here. There is no way that we have enough supply flow to send all of our units up here. So we're going to send these guys to go frontline over here. And then these three armies, I think for now we're just going to have them frontline here. This is just a temporary thing. Front line here, and then front line over here. Very, very temporary on that front. Okay, now I need to pull up that comment that I was talking about here. That did not end up being a next episode thing. That did end up being a this episode thing. And let's see here. Where is it? It was Wendy DeLise that commented it. So thank you for that, Wendy. Let me find the actual comment here. It's in here somewhere. I know that. I replied to it because I wanted to save it here. But it is not showing up in this list. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, there we go. I have found it. Fantastic. So this is, of course, not my design. This was my design. This is a terrible design, and I knew that when I made it. So that'll be fine. What is recommended here is 5 modern tank battalions like this in Regiment 1. And then we would just remove all of these guys. And yeah, that'll cost a fair amount to remove. We'll just remove all of these for now. Along the lines of this. And then we would need a modern tank destroyer battalion here. So we would do an armored battalion. So modern tank destroyer. Right there. Then we would want a modern self-propelled artillery, which is in here somewhere. There's an anti-air, but we do need one of those, so we'll put one of those in. And a modern self-propelled. This is going to require additional production, right? But that's okay. So a modern self-propelled artillery as well. So those 3 there. There we go. And then we would just put in infantry battalions over here. Like so. And what that ends up doing, as we can see over here, is that reduces our supply weight by half, which is very nice. It ups our HP by over half, actually. Gives us some nice air attack. It does reduce our hard attack by a solid amount, but it also increases our organization by roughly double. It increases our defense pretty dramatically, reduces our fuel usage a lot, and our manpower a little bit, as well as our modern tank production. Now we're going to need to go ahead and do that. And of course, now we're missing equipment production for modern self-propelled artillery, tank destroyers, and anti-airs, but we can pull those off of our just standard modern tanks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that down like that, and then we're going to build ourselves in here modern self-propelled anti-airs. Now we don't need anywhere near this many. We're going to just toss in, say, 10 military factories on that, and then we're going to do, and I'm just making these numbers up. The modern self-propelled artillery here, we'll do 10 on that. And we will go ahead and do for the modern anti-air and then the tank destroyers. We'll do 10 on that as well. Okay, so something along the lines of this. And we'll do that as a higher priority than the infantry equipment. Now, we didn't adjust any of our logistics, or rather our support divisions here. I'm going to leave those as is. But that'll be fine for now. That will dramatically be better. There's no doubt about it. So we'll do that, and we'll get that started. So we'll get those supplies flowing out. You can see here we have quite a need of those. But that's okay. We'll get those started ASAP. And that also frees up a lot of steel. So if we look at our actual trade here, we actually have too much chromium. Let's not get chromium imported anymore because we don't need to do that. We just captured a bunch of chromium stores. And we don't need as much anymore either. We do need some steel. We'll go ahead and trade for what we need. That's more than what we need. Still more than what we need. This is 55 more than we need. So we would want to be like here. There we go. That's more like it. Fantastic. And we'll get all these constructions underway. We will need to begin work immediately on constructing all of this infrastructure. Now, we're only interested in constructing infrastructure as a priority in locations that we control. And so we shall. Okay, there we go. There's our infrastructure, and all of that infrastructure in locations that we control becomes a priority to repair as well as to actually build. Okay, so these repairs make their way on up. There we go. And in locations that we actually control, we will prioritize construction of infrastructure. There we go. Locations that we don't control, that will remain a lower priority. Now let's adjust this, shall we? So we're going to immediately remove all of these. There was a gap in our defenses. Okay, that's awkward. We're going to make our way up through here, and that'll be just fine. There we go. And we will remove all of those. Okay. Some of them were built, but I don't think they were built by us, strictly speaking. So we'll remove all of those. We do not need them. And we will remove all of these over here, although we do need them still in these regions over here. So we'll go ahead and queue them back up as a low priority over here. There we go. As well as over here. Now we're going to be attacking Zaire quite soon, so I'm not actually going to do that there, but we will do it over here and over here. We'll also have to remember that we do need to garrison these locations. That will become a necessity, and we're also going to queue up coastal forts up through here. There we go. Now, these are very low priority, just something for our factories to do if we don't have anything else queued up. But there we go. We'll also do the same thing over here with these coastal forts. And we'll just get those ready to go. As far as our garrisons go, we are going to need to expand our garrisons a little bit, obviously. There was never any doubt about that one, but there we go. That should do the trick. Fantastic. So we'll get that underway. That is wonderful. And we'll work on refilling our fuel. We should definitely send these guys back to port. Actually, we'll get them back to drilling, is what we'll do with them. Just so that we can get ourselves some naval experience. There we go. We do have some built up, but we're going to want additional naval experience. Perfection. Okay, so when are we going to have our claim on Zaire done? Not for quite a long time. That's fine. We do need to let our world tension dissipate a little bit. And we also want to consider attacking Finland fairly soon. Do they have resources? They do. They do have resources that we would like to have. So that is absolutely fine. And over time, we will continue to see our steel amounts come up. So that will be good. And we will just allow all this to happen. Now, we do want to construct these first because these do repair slowly over time on their own. And so we want these to be like bottom tier priority as far as building infrastructure goes. So we'll do something like that. Infrastructure is still top priority, but repairs are lower than new infrastructure. Excellent. So, we do need to work on our coast guards a little bit. These guys, they are supposed to be garrisoning this down here. They're going to not do that, but they are rather going to do that as well. And I think we'll also have them be responsible for garrisoning this. Like that. Okay. Oh, that reminds me. Anti-air as well as radar stations. We may as well queue it, even if it's not going to get constructed. There we go. And radar. This is insane, what I'm looking at right now. But we don't have to look at this very frequently. That is bonkers. Completely and totally bonkers. Ah, I didn't realize we took that from the Portuguese as well. It makes sense. So we should have these guys also be responsible for garrisoning this then. There we go. So that's 51 divisions. That's acceptable. And then this over here, that's fine. This over here is going to need to be a little bit expanded. So that's currently 29 divisions. If we add in all of these states, like so, what does that become? It becomes super high, super fast. I can't say we're shocked by that. That's 100 divisions. Okay. Well, we're not in a rush to get that done, right? So that'll be fine. So it is these guys, we're going to move them over here. Everyone else, other than these three, should be good to go, correct? 65. Oh, these guys actually need one more. I'm going to move one unit from here over to here, just to make sure that they're good to go. So 65, these guys require 26, so they'll require a unit as well. There we go. And then these guys, they require 48. Why is everybody a unit short? 59. They're not a unit short. Okay. 27. They are. And 26. They're fine. So now it's just these three that require additional units. I'm going to send 2 units to here just to get them started. And then 2 units to here. Okay. There we go. Fantastic. How are we doing on our growth? We're not doing great. So I've been informed as well that there is apparently a coring system, but I've been unable to verify it or find out how exactly you access it. From what I can tell, it seems to be a mod. And if that's the case, then I don't have the mod installed. But if there is a way to core some of these states when compliance gets high enough, I would very much like to hear about it. Because this local non-core manpower modifier here, it doesn't do much. As your compliance goes up, it doesn't help a ton. I mean, we are increasing somewhat, but not as much as I'd like to see. And that's because we need additional cores. I don't know that there's a way to do that in the base game, but I'm not ready to say that there isn't a way to do it in the base game. But if there is, then I don't know how to do it. Now, I did find that there's some ways to do it as nations that we aren't in the base game. But as far as I'm aware, there's no way for us to do that. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. I would love to be corrected on that, but we'll see. So as far as our trade goes, we're at minus 10 steel right now because the Russian Federation, actually they are delivering us the amount that they're supposed to. I think we're getting more factories online is what's happening there. That's okay. We are currently needing to switch a lot of factories over, and that is something that I'm very interested in doing. In fact, every one of these that's a military factory over here in Spain or Portugal, like anywhere on the Iberian Peninsula, I'm going to switch. I want this to be all civilian all the time. And we'll get those switched over just as soon as we can. And that's 3 military factories still. There we go. None to be done there. Excellent. Okay, and now that conversion takes top prio. That'll take some time to work through. There's no doubt about that one. That will take some time. But we have way more military factories than we can really feasibly utilize at this point. So that is wonderful. We are working on our modern tank variants. We may want to throw additional factories at those at some point. Actually, let me think about that for a moment. They're in the correct proportion right now, aren't they? I didn't even think about that when I set this up, but 5, 1, 1, or multiply by 10, so 50, 10, 10, 10. They are in the correct proportion. And we're storing up quite a lot of modern tanks. So that's also good to know. Yeah, I think we're going to be fine with this as is. We've backed off on our production of modern tanks by a pretty dramatic margin, and that is fantastic. Okay, I'm quite pleased with our production at this point. How are we doing on our construction? This is going reasonably well as well, especially as we continue to convert these over. Those conversions do take quite a long time, though, a little bit over a month. Which does surprise me. We can actually build a few more civilian factories over here, and that is something that I am interested in doing. Can we build any over here? Actually, I haven't looked over here. 0 out of 0. Okay, that's fine. We can build a civilian factory here. We can build a civilian factory in South Angola. I'm also interested in converting any military factories over here that exist. Yeah, there are a couple. Okay. We'll also go ahead and convert any of these in South Africa. Okay, that'll be fine. That will all take absolute top priority, of course. Except for constructing these in locations that are in our subject nations. That's fine. We're not going to focus on that just yet. There's a lot of work ahead of us, to be sure. We're not surprised by this. But we will go ahead and get started on that. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to invade Zaire and probably think about invading Finland as well. I'm going to start justifying on them. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.